Previously. We had made it into Exmouth and explored the surrounds, doing an epic day trip into Cape Range National Park where we did some wicked snorkeling, finishing our time taste testing the local beers.
Also in our last episode, you would have seen us meet up with Blaine and Shenaid, some good friends who you'll see a lot more of throughout the next few episodes.
While they topped up their tanks with fresh water, Ames and Rusty got a photo with the massive prawn in Exmouth.
What are we doing, Kurt?
Going for a ride.
Where to?
Ningaloo Station.
Why are you so happy?
We got a boat.
Where are you getting this boat from?
Going for Exmouth boat hire. So I got it for like a week, and Blaine and Shenaid are going to tow it, and we're going to share it and have some good times.
Hopefully catch bulk fish.
Bulk fish, definitely.
Alright, let's go pick it up.
Ew.
So we headed to Exmouth Boat Hire to pick up our tinnie for the week. Now people, like anything on hire, make sure you do a thorough walk around it with the owner before you accept it. Make sure you take photos of any previous damage or scratches so they can't pin this on you later.
All happy with the tinnie? Blaine signed the last of the documents before hitching it up and driving off. We headed just up the road to fill our cars up with diesel and top up our jerry cans with some more petrol for the tinnie.
It was then time to head south en route to Ningaloo Station.
Just about to deflate 8 tyres. Definitely recommending deflating, as it's a long 32-kilometre drive on pretty rough dirt road to get to the homestead.
We both just took it easy with the caravan and tinnie in tow and had no problems making it to the homestead.
Having a quick look over the boat trailer to make sure everything was all good, we then headed into the office to finalise our camping.
It was then another 20-kilometre drive from the homestead to get to our campground of choice, Winderabandi Point.
It had been recommended to us as a nice sheltered spot to camp and a nice easy beach access to launch the boat from.
The site we had booked was a shared site and it was massive. We wasted no time getting the van in position so we could then launch the tinnie.
Blaine had no problems backing the trailer to the water's edge and popping the tinnie off. He did get a wee bit bogged going back up to the beach though. We just released a little more air out of the tyres and he was good to go. Go the Nissans.
Once all officially set up, we packed the tinnie and headed out for an afternoon fish. You can't fish off a tinnie at Winderabandi Point. You have to creep around the corner to the south, so you're out of the marine zone.
I sat at the front and navigated Blaine through all the bommies, aka oyster and coral stacks, about.
How blue is this water? It is ridiculous. No fish were caught, but we got a rough feel for the area and the best way to navigate are around the corner.
Funnily enough, some of our good mates of ours happen to be camped next to us, the roving Russos. So we all sit back with beers in hand watching this stunner sunset.
How good is this view? Another perfect day.
No, you can't fish here off a tinny, but you are allowed to cast net and fish from the beach. So I pulled out my old cast net and tried to catch us some bait. After a few practice throws, I managed to catch a small amount, which was great.
So, day 2 of fishing. I opted to sit this one out as I'm not an avid fisherwoman. I plan to spend the day relaxing with little Rusty. Catch lots of fish.
Unfortunately, still no luck with any fish on day 2. Ah well, we had planned to have a pork roast that night, so that lifted our spirits.
We nailed the roast with perfect crackling, which accompanied our crispy camp oven potato bake.
The next morning, I spotted some more schools of baitfish near the shore, so I ran out and caught a good amount. We had plenty, so then I caught some more for the Russos.
So today, only Kurt and Blaine headed out. Shenaid and I were going to try to fish from the beach, while the boys planned to head out past the reef and into some deeper waters.
While out in the ocean, we spotted some nearby transients.
Whoa! Too close.
While drifting, these whales came a little too close for comfort. Incredible experience though.
So the boys had whales and we saw some dolphins swimming around close to shore. It was getting a tad late and we were beginning to wonder where the boys were, and lo and behold, we saw them heading in. Are they happy smiles? Is that happy smiles?
Men have provided.
Have they? The men have provided. Woo! What we got? What's that? What's that?
Trevally.
Ooh. Ooh, what's that? Cod?
Oh, that's a good one.
Ooh.
Little did we boys know that Shenaid had caught 2 massive queenies off the beach that morning.
Overall, a successful day and we finally have some fresh fish. There was only one thing left to do, fillet them all up so we could cook them for dinner and try the different species.
The following day, the weather wasn't the best. It was overcast and we were pretty sure it was going to rain, but all too keen to go catch some fish, so we headed out anyways.
We weren't out very long before turning around and retreating back to camp.
It rained most of the day, just clearing up in the late afternoon, which was good, meant we could play some beach games. We pulled out a game called Who's the Dude. It's pretty much a charades, but you have to use the inflatable dudes to act out your cards.
The next morning, the weather was picturesque again. Rusty ran and jumped into the tinnie with her life jacket on.
As tempting as it is to take her, we knew she wouldn't enjoy it, so left her nap in the van while we headed out for another morning sesh out on the water.
We saw plenty of marine life and eventually Kurt landed another cod and a small parrotfish.
Well, after 6 glorious days, this was our final day on the water. It wasn't as good fishing as we had hoped, but we had caught a few and made plenty of memories here.
Sitting back, watching the sunset with a fire was a perfect way to spend our last night here.
Well, the next day we had decided to get up and pack up early and head towards Exmouth and try our luck fishing in the Gulf. Just been fishing at Ningaloo Reef on the boat. It's not been very great. Snapped a couple of rods. Snapped Amy's rod. Ah! Yeah.
Where are you going now?
We're going to Exmouth to try again.
All hitched up, we farewelled Winderabandi Point and started the return drive to the homestead.
We made it back to the front gates and started pumping up all our tyres. That was until our compressor broke. Had to use Blaine's, finishing off inflating the van tyres. Goodbye broken fishing rods.
Reckons a squid, flathead, mangrove jackal in that creek. Should be able to check that out.
Just under an hour, we made it to Exmouth Station. We decided to pay for just one night and try our luck fishing in the Gulf.
We headed straight to the water to launch the tinnie and make the most of the day. It was a bit tricky as the tide was out and Blaine had to drive onto the rocks.
When we headed out, the water was like glass. Within half an hour, Blaine had landed 2 squids.
While chasing more squid, this massive stingray came up and cruised around the boat. It was huge.
We then decided to go further out into the Gulf in search of some local shelves. While out there, we encountered some more passing whales.
Oh, look at him! Once they had passed, we kept going and eventually got the drone up to try and help us locate the shelves.
While the drone was up, we spotted more whales. How's that for timing? It was well and truly migrating season, and we felt so lucky to see so many.
Absolutely amazing. Well, we retrieved the tinnie, a little deflated over our week of fishing. We stayed the night at Exmouth Station. You have to camp 2 kilometres back from the water, so just bush camping.
While on our way out, we spotted heaps of dead trees and knew we wanted some good firewood for our upcoming stay at Yewww Station. The boys wasted no time and chainsawed a good dozen logs.
Overall, we had a great week despite the lack of fish. We saw countless marine life which made up for it. I think the tinnie high was well worth it, just for the whale watching.
Well, it's time to drop the tinnie back and make our way to the popular Yewww Station. Find some gnarly campsites and explore the station from top to toe.
Love our videos? Why not help support us on Patreon? If you like this episode, then give us a thumbs up and leave us a comment. Cheers, legends.